Alright, so now I'm going to show you guys some common mistakes in taping ET tubes and how they can lead to a decrease in tube security. And this will kind of show you why it's so important to make sure that every time we tape a tube, we're doing it the same way. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and use my same tape from before. This piece right here, if this tail right here is too long on the bottom piece and it gets stuck to the tape on the other side, it's going to be extremely difficult to get that off if you have to retape. In addition, when you go to wrap this around, you're not going to have adhesive sticking to your tube all the way around. This is going to be folded up under there, and that will actually decrease the security of the tube because that part won't be sticky. Then as I'm wrapping this around, if I don't pull tightly enough and I leave gaps between the tape and the tube, that's an area where drool or moisture can get into that gap and begin to dissolve the adhesive and make the tube less secure. So if I do this too loosely and I don't kind of pull the tape as I'm going around, I'm decreasing tube security. Also, if you put too big of a courtesy tab on the end, again, that's part of your tape job that is not actually sticking tape to tube. And when we go over this with our next piece, this part of your tube is not secure. So for the next piece, when we put this one on, if our bridge piece and our angle are not right on top of our tube, but instead are over more, so kind of like this, then again what that's going to do is cause a gap between our tube and the adhesive. So now when I try to go around with this piece, that's not really sticking to the tube, and when I go around with my tape, we now have another area where oral secretions and saliva can get underneath and begin to degrade the adhesive. So I'm going to wrap this around, and remember, this is a big courtesy tab right here, so that's not actually sticking to my tube. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one just to illustrate why this is bad. So I'll put another big courtesy tab there. Alright, and then for my third and final piece, I put this one on here and go this way and go around with this one. And if you just go around in a circle and don't really spiral up your tube, then what you're creating is just tape on top of tape. So you, again, don't have the multiple contacts between tape and tube that provide for your ET tube security. And I'll do another big courtesy tab there. So not only does this not look as pretty, but it's really not as secure. You're putting the patient at risk for an unplanned extubation because you really don't have a lot of contact between tape and tube. You have gaps that secretions can get into, and as a result, this tube is able to slide out through the tape, and then you'll end up with tape but no tube.